So one quick note about the sauce. You don't actually want to put all the ingredients in there like I did before, so I got a little carried away with all my excitement. So actually you just want to kind of put the sauce in there, the tomato paste, and the crushed tomatoes, and excuse me, let them simmer with the garlic in the pot for about 20-25 minutes. Once that kind of simmers, then you add all the other herbs, you know, the parsley and the oregano and the basil and the wine and the gelatin. Then you kind of let that sit for another 10 minutes. So in total, your sauce takes you about 35 minutes pretty much to make. So just want to give that note. So now we're ready to go with the meatballs. So here is, we have 2 pounds of the grass-fed ground beef. We have 2 eggs. We have our about 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese. We have our gelatin, and we actually have our coconut oil, which we're actually going to, once we make the meatballs, we're going to actually roll them in there and kind of seal everything in when we bake them in the oven about 350. So this is what we're going to do. Once again, all we're going to do is basically take the eggs, we're going to put this in here, take the Parmesan cheese, put this in here, and now our protein. We want to put about 7 tablespoons of this in here. So we're not going to cut back on this because we actually have 2 pounds of meat. So here comes all the protein, extra protein to kind of balance everything out. It's pretty important that we understand that there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 more. Okay, as I was saying, it's pretty important that we understand that, you know, being healthy is to eat all part of the animal, not just the meat. Okay, so, you know, the skin, connective tissue, and bone contain 50% of the protein. The other protein comes from the muscle meat. So, you know, we're all familiar with muscle meat, but not in this culture, especially in the United States, are we familiar with the gelatin. Okay, other countries make soups, broths all the time. You guys obviously have seen me make the broth recipe. So, you know, I would say in our culture, in Western culture, where we kind of shun and kind of shy away from all those parts that other countries, I mean, they fight for that stuff. You know, they love liver and brain and all these other organ meats, and like I said, a lot of the connective tissue to make, you know, oxtail broths and your chicken feet to make the broth. So, you know, it's pretty easy to see what I'm talking about if you watch Travel Channel and you watch Anthony Bourdain, or if you watch Andrew Zimmerman. You know, yeah, some of those foods I personally wouldn't want to have myself, but other cultures are generally a lot healthier than we are. They don't process foods the way that we do. So it is important to realize that when it comes to health, that we need to get the full spectrum of amino acids, not just the pro-inflammatory ones that we're so used to with whey proteins, so used to with just eating meat all the time. So if you're a child, you're growing, that's okay. You want to have actually more of those amino acids that come in the meat. But once you stop growing, as the older you get, the less and less muscle meat you need, and the more you need from gelatin. So that's just something to consider, especially when, you know, people are concerned with cancers and anything that has to do with inflammation. You want to limit anything that's going to cause any excess inflammation. And obviously, excess training, overtraining will do that. You know, being too stressed out mentally, emotionally will do that. And then you'll also make it harder on your body if you're, you know, not eating properly. So, once again, you have physical stress, mental, emotional, and nutritional stress. So we want to make sure we really kind of balance these things out. So I'm pretty much almost done with mixing all this meat and gelatin together. Okay, so now comes the process of making the meatballs, forming them, and then coating them in the coconut oil. And then once again, the oven's already preheated. So I'm going to kind of proceed to do that now since we're looking pretty good. So just going to make a few meatballs, kind of coat these, and you can make them, I guess, as big or as little as you want. I kind of like mine about this size. It's pretty decent size. But but this is a super quick meal. And once again, you're getting everything that you need, to get in the meal. So we're not just sticking with the meats. We got the gelatin in the sauce, all the spices, everything. Just like I said, if you smell it right now, you guys would love this. So we have good carbohydrates from the tomatoes that are in there. We have good fats that are here in the meat, the coconut oil as well. Great protein from not only the meat but also the gelatin itself. So it's just a fantastic meal that I always encourage you guys to try new things. So this is a super easy one to do, and you can salt everything up to your taste, put all the different ingredients that's to your liking, and really, I mean, you're talking under an hour, you got a pretty incredible meal. So one word of caution is when you cook the meatballs, try to make sure that you don't overcook them. In my opinion, I like to have them about maybe medium. You could do medium rare. Even the first time, it's not the best. So I probably say medium because if you're not going to eat them all in one sitting, every time you cook them in the sauce, they're going to cook again. So that's just something to take in consideration. So yeah, for me, you don't want to kind of dry them out. That's all I'm going to say. So you don't want to do that too much. So medium, maybe a little bit more if that's how you like it. And I'm going to form just a few more of these and coat them in the coconut oil, and then we'll put them in the oven. So actually, I'll start doing that now to save some time. So, all right, guys, here we go. So we have our meatballs, and all we're going to do, we have a little baking pan here. A lot of the juices are going to start to come out. So all I'm doing is just rolling this so it gets a good outer coating on the coconut oil. And you'll see as they sit here, they're actually going to turn a little white. Why? Because the coconut oil is going to cool. About 78 degrees in here. So it'll look a little interesting. Nothing to be alarmed about, but all it is the coconut oil. And coconut oil is a medium chain fat, very healthy saturated fat.